Welcome to Russam GMS and our first event of the year. I don't know what your inbox was like when you got back, but certainly for us here at Russam, we have work coming out of our ears. So if you're in the same boat, thank you very much for braving the cold, the wind, the rain. Everybody tells me it's awful out there, and coming to the gridiron for our first event of the year. My name is Ian Joseph, and along with my colleague Jason Atkinson, we own and run Russam GMS, and we're delighted to have you here. One of our most recent initiatives has been our involvement as founding partners of the worldwide Interim leadership group, the WIL Group. The WIL Group brings together 14 leading interim and transitional management companies operating in 32 countries around the world, and it really does give us a global footprint and the ability to help clients with whatever their needs are. And I'm really delighted that today we have representatives from the WIL Group, from not just the UK, but from overseas as well. And we've got Patrick here from France, and Melissa. Where's Melissa? Melissa, hello Melissa. And we've got Thorsten from Germany. Have I missed anybody? No, that's it. Okay, thank you. You're very, very welcome indeed. Here in the UK, we've been involved with the WIL Group for a couple of years now, before it became the WIL Group, and just recently have been involved with placing senior interims in China, in the US, helping British companies expand overseas, and we see it as a very important part of our future plans. In fact, it's not just us. 1 in 5 businesses in the UK, small businesses that is, export internationally, and 1 in 4 do in Europe. In fact, research suggests that those organisations that trade internationally are more likely to survive and thrive. That is, of course, unless you trade in the commodity, which is onions. And just bear with me a second and just indulge me. I was reading something last week and I couldn't but share it with you. It was on the BBC website and it sort of leapt off the screen at me. But onions, if you don't know, have been traded for thousands of years. And in fact, they think that 2000 BC on the Silk Road, onions were going backwards and forwards. And China and India dominate production and consumption, and between them they account for 45% of the world's annual production of more than 70 million tons of onions. A figure like that brings tears to the eyes. Sorry, that was really bad, but I wanted to try it. Never again. But what's interesting is 90% of onions are consumed in their country of origin. So actually there isn't really an export market for onions, and I just thought that was quite interesting, and I thought I'd share that with you tonight. But we're here to learn about real international trade and what the real issues are. And so after I've introduced each of the speakers, they're going to share some thoughts, some individual thoughts for a few minutes, and then we're going to open it up to questions. And so at this point, I just want to give you a very brief synopsis of our esteemed guests. So firstly, Chris Bell at the end. Chris joined Bridgepoint in 1999. He's the partner that leads Bridgepoint's manufacturing and industrials team. He spent 5 years developing Bridgepoint's Stockholm office, as well as secondment to a leading Australian private equity house. Prior to Bridgepoint, Chris was a manager in the corporate recovery division of PwC. Next to him we have David Richardson, who we've got to know quite well recently as the Interim Chief Executive of Crown Agents, and maybe he'll share something about what Crown Agents do. It's a very interesting organisation. David was previously CEO of LGC, the international market leader in laboratory services, CEO of British Mediterranean Airways, which was a franchise carrier for British Airways, flying to 16 countries in the Middle East, Central Asia and Africa. Patrick Verrado, Chief Executive of XPM and Chairman of the Worldwide Interim Leadership Group. And Patrick has really led the development of bringing these various partners, including Russam GMS, together. We thank him for that. Patrick became a partner of KPMG Pete Marwick in 1984, was Chief Executive of his French operation in 94, was instrumental in driving KPMG's international expansion before selling to the US firm CSC in 98. Patrick founded XPM in 2001, and it is the leading interim and transitional management company in France with offices in China, Russia, and India. Now, we were due to be joined by Michael Barringer from Interflora. Unfortunately, circumstances have prevailed against him and he can't be with us this evening, but we're delighted that Ian Manting has elected to join us, and we were hoping that Ian would get involved somehow. And Ian is an international trade advisor with UK Trade and Investment. Prior to joining UKTI, Ian held senior roles at Thomson Reuters, including, I think, at least one stint overseas. And he'll not be presenting as such, but will be sharing some thoughts about what UKTI do. So thank you very much, all of you, for coming. Thank you especially to our panel of distinguished speakers. And at this point, I'm going to hand over, we can crack on.